This is the 21.5 Show.
You're on 121.5, the emergency frequency.
Whether you're a professional pilot or want to be one, you're in the right place.
Let's get started.
Join professional aviators Dylan and Max as they talk their experience in the airlines, business aviation, and more.
Life is good.
Industry experts, unique stories, and plenty of fun. This is the 21.5 Show.
Here we go.
Does that get you in the mood?
I feel like I'm in a 64 Impala right now in Hydros.
Yes.
You know what I feel like? Have you in Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh, yeah.
Pedro's cousin?
Yes.
I feel like I'm rolling with Pedro's cousin right now.
Yes.
Simone, I say.
Yeah.
Simone. I like the little triangle, though. Bing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pilots from across the globe, welcome to episode 103 of the 21.5 Show. It is the show for professional pilots. I am joined by my colleague and professional pilot, Maxwell. Hello, Max.
Hello.
That's all you got? It's going to be a long show.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, it's... I'm building up steam.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Disclaimer.
we got Joel with it. Joel's on a very exciting cross country in a aircraft referred to as a Mescalero.
Mescalero.
I think Joel continues to refer to it as the Mescalero, which is basically the military version of a 172, like that his brother bought. But they had a very treacherous diversion today. Where are you, Joel? In Mississippi, exactly?
Oxford, Mississippi, land of Ole Miss.
Are you hanging out with the co-eds? Oh,
we are at the
seems
college.
A little suspect that you just happened to divert into a college
rough
town.
Magneto issue.
Yeah.
So, Joel, how's it been to transit our beautiful country at 5,500 feet? Have you been enjoying it?
Is it bumpy?
In the summertime.
It has been bumpy. There's been some moments at 2,500 and then, going way up to 6,500. That was pretty thrilling. I'm
Googling. It doesn't look like the Mescalero comes standard with air conditioning. Is that correct?
Well, it's 60 degrees up there.
Yeah,
once
I guess
you get past. That's nice. That's
Joel,
nice.
does your brother though, like when he addresses air traffic control, does he identify himself as like Mescalero 38 Tango?
Oh, for sure. This is Mescalero.
Does your brother? Does he have any sort of like feathered headdress when he gets out of the airplane that he adorns?
We had to Google what Mescalero
Any
meant.
sort of leather moccasins or boots or anything that he wears when he flies?
Yeah, he just wears a leather Speedo when he gets out.
It's part of the Apache tribe. That's what the Mescalero we learned.
Yeah, that's right. Which I don't know. But I thought that the whole thing with naming aircraft after Indian tribes was an Army helicopter thing, right?
No, that was a Piper thing.
Well, no, because there's like the Apache, the Kiowa,
but think about
OH-58.
But think about like the Seminole and the Archer. I don't know. I think there's multiple people in the struggle for this.
Okay, point taken. But the 172 has no business with any sort of Native American name.
But this is the military version, right? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
What if it's equipped with ForeFlight? That's the.
I just hope that this is Mescalero. Anyway, all right, let's get to the show.
Mescalero sounds like next time I go to Mexico at the duty-free store, I'm going to buy some to.
It sounds like a hat. Is what it sounds like. A Mexican hat.
Oh, I forgot.
Hey, my friend, special price today on the Mescalero.
Off-brand dessert wine.
Provide shade for your lady and your children.
Oh man! Well, if you're wondering what you're listening to, so are we. But apparently, this is the 21.5 Show. It's a show for two professional pilots and one amateur pilot. And we're certainly glad you're along for the journey with us today. We've got a lot to cover, and I hope you like comedy because we've got some comedy coming up.
No worries, it's not us.
It's not us. It's an actual real professional.
We're not talking about ourselves.
A real professional pilot / comedian Robb Patton is going to be joining us to talk about how he helps professional pilots learn through humor. And it's pretty awesome. So stick around for that. Plus, we've got all the usual suspects, flight advice, mailbag, lots to talk about. First off, I'm going to post a link hopefully I can post a link in the show notes because I think it might have been an Instagram story. It was a video sent to us by multiple listeners of a commuter pilot playing the violin at the gate when when his flight was delayed in full uniform. So, and it was Delta, right? So it was the double-breasted jacket, Max.
Yeah, it looked like the guy was playing on the deck of the Titanic while it was sinking with that uniform and everything.
Yeah, I can't comment. I'm sure he's a great violin player. What do you think was the first thing I did when someone sent me that video?
Send it to me.
Well, you were second. Who was the first person I sent that to?
Ted. Oh, Ted.
Had to
get some initial reactions from Ted.
I had to get
what did he say? I was on that text actually. What did he say?
Yeah, I'm going to find it right now. It was incredible.
He was super impressed.
He was great. I said, I sent it to our buddy Ted and our other buddy Clint. They said, Ted and Clint getting ready to walk the picket line. And then there's this guy. And Ted responds with, I hate him down to my core. So I guess that's a step beyond the guitar playing overnight guy, the at the gate violin guy. I don't know.
Yeah, so the guy, I mean, clearly the guy's bringing his violin with him to work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what?
I don't know.
I don't know what I would do if I flew with a guy that brought a violin to work.
If you're the captain, what would you do?
I'd call it fatigued. This guy's wearing me out.
Well, like if your guys are delayed at the gate and then they're like, hey, looks like we got an edict time for Kennedy. And the first officer goes, oh, I'll be back. Just grabs his violin case and walks up the jet bridge.
From where? Like where?
I don't know.
There's
a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Shout out to the guy. He was a great, like he was
How did we get that interview, Joel? Can you reach out to that guy on Instagram? Yeah. I'd like to talk to him. Let me tell you.
I won't mention these comments first, though.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
Just say, hey, we really thought that was interesting. How you, we'd like to talk to pilots that think outside the box. And Max is a big classical music fan, so it really kind of goes hand in hand with the show. And so,
interesting.
And then we can just dress him down. What were you thinking?
Hey, very skilled though. Like the music was actually very good.
Like I said. He sounded like the guys that were playing on the Titanic as it sunk were very talented also.
Yeah.
At least in the movie they were.
So I don't know. We'll post a link if we can. It might have been a story which expired, but if it isn't, I'll post a link and then you the listener can write in and give us the final verdict on that one. More social media, Max. Saw a post about on one of our Challenger groups about a pilot post says, the Challenger 300 just left Aspen with a 15 gusting to 22 tailwind. How do you do that? ? And then, of course, people make all these different posts, and I'm not here to, say.
Is this the video where they're guys they're like, oh my God, and they're like videoing it?
No, that was a different one. But anyways, the only thing that I was going to talk to you about this was that they said, oh, maybe it could have been a tailwind when they departed. Who knows? But it reminded me of summertime flying into Aspen and getting the instantaneous winds. Do you remember that? Going in there and like that was the one place where over the radio ATC would say, they'd call like a wind saying you had a tailwind, but then every once in a while they'd give you an instantaneous wind readout.
Yeah, they're playing the game.
Yeah. And so it got me thinking and remembering about those games in the summertime with those instantaneous winds. And then, as luck would have
it's just like the instantaneous visibility too.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're outside the final approach fix.
Yeah. And then, so as luck would have it, I was checking the blog at Advanced Aircrew Academy, and they just wrote a blog post about instantaneous winds. And they actually had an NTSB report came out about a 2022 runway excursion in Aspen with a Hawker. And they actually talked about the flight crew's improper decision to take off in tailwind conditions that exceeded the airplane's performance capabilities. But it really just got me thinking about those instantaneous winds and how they kind of play the game there. and you kind of got to know what that's like. Do you remember having to deal with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause with the one way in, one way out airports, you get very limited with the wind direction sometimes. So
yeah, they do a good job of breaking it down. In the blog post, they talk about how the METAR reports are a 10-minute average wind. ATIS or tower reports are a 2-minute average wind. And the instantaneous wind reading is desired and requested from ATC. The phraseology instant wind should be used in the request. ATC may provide instant wind information without request under shifting, gusting wind conditions. So
it didn't mention anything about just the phrase wind check that American Airlines has perfected it.
Oh, I've got a fun one. Let's take this to the next level since we're talking about wind. Do you know what one of my favorite things to do when I fly with a new pilot for the first time is? On final. Joel, you can do this tomorrow with your brother. When the other guy's flying, when you're on final, next time say, hey, what do you think will happen when I say woodchuck over the radio? And the other guy going, I don't know. And so all you do is just transmit woodchuck, and tower always think you're saying wind check, and they'll give you the wind. Max doesn't seem amused.
Of course they would. Wait, Dylan, hold on. I have some breaking news here, though. The airline violinist has his own TikTok page. He has coined himself the airline violinist, and he has multiple videos of him posing with his violin, full uniform, outside the aircraft. And this is the icing on the cake, dude. And he's got some cat videos here too.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
Is this the same guy?
Yeah. Look at him.
Oh, yeah. Here's the video. Yeah.
What does this say? Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Airplane, check. Violin case, check.
Ooh. Okay. All right. I think that'll wrap up our social media recap for the day, huh?
Dude, you can see this picture. He's taking a selfie, and his violin case is also his flight bag, and he puts it in the flight bag spot next to his seat. It's like sticking up like like in the window. Oh wow. There's a lot. This is a lot to digest right now. We'll post a link to this. Let everyone just try and wrap their heads around that.
Okay. Just be careful. Just be careful downloading TikTok.
I don't know. Never download it. Just look it on the web.
Just look it on the. Don't download the.
An idiot.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some reviews and comments. Read Scott on LinkedIn, Joel. This is awesome. This sounds like something Ted would write.
About that last Space Force episode, honestly, better than I thought it would be.
All right.
Shout out,
Scott.
I swear, does that sound like something Ted would say?
Huh.
It's not a direct compliment, but if coming from him, this would be like a really resounding praise.
We take it.
Honestly, it's better than I thought it would be.
I thought it was great. Shout out to Casey.
This is a 5-star review. Started with the Roger Reeves episode, then I was hooked. It's hard for me to decide if the podcast is more educational or entertaining. The featured topics are educational, and the presentation is entertaining. The show has helped me get up to speed on industry standards and practices and has increased my understanding of the other segments of our industry. The banter and joking also make it an entertaining hour or two. The inside jokes, pilot humor make me smile every time. Dylan, Max, and Joel, keep up the good work.
I can tell you that this one is not educational at all so far. We know which side this one skews on.
Listen, Dylan, I think a lot of people did not know that the military version of the 172 is called the Mescalero.
That's true. So yeah, you got a little
nugget right there.
Mescalero.
Okay.
I like those reviews. Thank you. Whoever wrote that review on the 5 stars, send us an email, info@215podcast.com. We'll be happy to send out some stickers to you. I'm on my last leg of stickers, Max. What should our next round be?
I don't know. I'll have to give that one some thought.
I could make a cool graphic for fake it till you make it. I could think about that. I don't know what it would be. Should it be a picture of like a logbook, like a guy making an entry in a logbook?
I feel like it should be like, who was it that animated the furlough flute and stuff?
Oh,
we should reach back out to that. It was some dude's wife, wasn't it?
Yeah, Amos's wife.
Like I feel like it should be some sort of animated, like the animated regional pilot character, like in an
Like
E-175, and things are sweat dripping, and things are kind of falling apart, and like the airplane's in a weird pitch attitude, and it's like fake it till you make it. Dylan Miller, 21.5 podcast.
Okay, all right, okay, we can work around.
And no, in the thing it says, should I allow myself to be forced to upgrade? Question mark. Fake it till you make it.
Or should it just be like fake it till you make it with a 4-stripe epaulet?
Yeah, that's
kind of
good too. It's for everybody who doesn't know. One time, this poor guy wrote in asking for advice about like what to do, because it's basically a situation where you have to upgrade, and he didn't feel like he was ready. And we went through all this stuff, and at the very end, Dylan goes, "All right, well, yeah, just fake it till you make it," which was essentially the opposite of all of the advice we'd just given the guy for 10 minutes. So that's why that's funny if you didn't listen to that one.
It was. Oh, I wonder if they took the upgrade. Let us know if you're still listening.
I know. That's the problem. All this advice, we never know what happens.
We never know. Oh, well, we have some responsive flight advice for later on. So I'm looking forward to that.
We have been complaining about that. People have written it. So
yeah. Lastly, I guess we want to mention that we're getting a lot of new YouTube subscribers. So thank you. Joel, do you have any more segments of the Roger Reeves? Can we post another video clip on the Roger Reeves video interview on YouTube soon?
Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. We've been having fun kind of launching those every few weeks, a little 10-minute clip. So if you get a chance to do that. And then also we've got some other video clips on the YouTube, on our YouTube channel of our interview with our little 10-minute segment with Dr. Broyhill. So some actual chances to see Max and I in the flesh, which you may want to go audio only after that.
Usually unbeknownst to me that this is a video segment. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Exactly. Okay, on to the mailbag, which is of course sponsored by our friends at Advanced Aircrew Academy, aircrewacademy.com. Check out all of the incredible offerings they have, including the blog that I just mentioned, where we talked about the instantaneous wins. If you want to learn about all the different information they've got, check it out, aircrewacademy.com. And get yourself educated, especially if you're going into Aspen. There's a lot of different wins out there. All right. What do we have, Joel?
After listening to your episode and hearing about the 135 FO who's stuck in the cycle of going to chain restaurants with their captain, it made me laugh quite a bit. But it also made me recall one particular instance where I myself, a veteran 135 pilot, got caught in chain restaurant hell. At a previous company, I was flying Gulfstreams, and 99% of the time, the crews would spend their 17-day rotations on the road together. On this particular rotation, we found ourselves spending 2 nights in TEB. To the corporate pilots out there who are on the Marriott plan like myself, you'll know all of the decent hotels to stay near the airport. We found ourselves staying somewhere where the hotel is located in a large business area with a few office buildings and restaurants. Chain restaurants. Since I had slam-clicked the captain the 3 previous nights, I thought he had gotten the memo that I did not want Applebee's or Chili's or anything similar. Boy, was I wrong. He had lured the flight attendant and I out of our rooms with a text message saying, I'll cover the first round of drinks at my favorite restaurant nearby. I simply couldn't resist the free beer, and being the frugal-minded FO that I am, who was I to turn down anything free? Looking at Google Maps, I saw one Italian place in a wasteland of chain restaurants within walking distance, so I assumed we'd need to drive to this potentially one-of-a-kind location. I responded to the captain's text, "Sounds good. I'll meet you downstairs in 5. I'll be in the car," with no response. He was always on time, so I thought nothing of it. The flight attendant met me at the car, and we sat inside waiting for him. After a couple of minutes, I heard a knock on the glass. It was my captain, clearly overjoyed for this exquisite dining experience that we'd all be sharing soon. I rolled down the window and told him to hop in. He laughed and said, "What? No, get out of the car. It's walking distance from here." I hesitantly rolled the windows up, looked at the flight attendant nervously, and uttered, "He says it's walking distance from here." She reassures me it's got to be the Italian place then, just down the road. As all 3 of us walk down the road, I see the Italian place just across the intersection, but his New Balances suddenly turn left, a door whips open in front of me, and I see the decal on the glass, Outback Steakhouse. As he waves me in, I look at the flight attendant in horror as the realization sets in that we've been tricked at the promise of free booze. Then I hear him say, "Man, it's been a little while since I've been here." All this to say their new loaded bloomin' onion isn't half bad. I guess I don't really have any advice to that one listener who wrote in. Just know that you're not alone, and most places have DoorDash, and don't be a sucker
I've
like
eaten
me.
at that Outback in Secaucus.
Oh my God. Everybody has.
I've been drugged there.
You were drugged there?
Dragged there.
Oh.
I should say. Yeah, by
I thought somebody slipped something in your
yeah, I was
beer
roofied there once at the bar. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's a long night.
You
Long night in
woke up at
Jersey.
the teppanyaki place later on?
Yeah, I woke up in the bathroom of the teppanyaki place. It was crazy.
Oh man! Did I tell you I found I'm out on Secaucus now?
Secaucus, out.
Yeah, out. So
Where
what
are
do
you
do?
at now? Are you in Hoboken? Where?
No, north of it's called the Enview Marriott place, but
Enview,
it's kind of north of Hoboken, but it's on the river, and then you hop right on the ferry. It's across the street. It's awesome.
That is the move because everyone
Yeah.
goes to Secaucus and it's like, oh, if you want to go into
You
the
ride
city,
this
you can just
bus,
take the
and I
bus.
can't
and
forget
the
it, no.
Yeah, but you just go to Hoboken or whatever and just take the ferry right
You
across
just
the
zip
river.
right
That's
across.
the
It's
move.
money.
Don't
Yep.
horse around with that George Washington Tunnel
Exactly.
nonsense.
Yeah, the Enview. Those that know. I think our friends at the Meridian FBO have it right there too.
I
so.
thought you were big. The W? No, where were you staying in Hoboken?
W
for a
Hoboken
while?
is good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a good spot too. But yeah, Enview now. Hot zone.
All right.
Anyways.
Put it on the guide.
Yeah, I think it is on there. Yeah. Listen, if you go to an Outback once every blue moon, it's okay. Right? Like if you get dragged in there in this guy's situation, you can handle it. Of the chains of the holy trinity of Applebee's, Chili's, and Outback's at the top of the pyramid for me, right?
Well, no, I don't think you can limit yourself. What about the Olive Garden, the Red Lobster?
Okay, yeah. Of
I
those,
feel like you're talking about two different categories of chain restaurants because if we're in like, I think even Denny's is the bottom end of the Chili's, Applebee's,
Vortex
circle, and then you can move up from there, and you have like
but Outback. Will you agree with me that Outback is a step above those two? Given the choice of Chili's,
that's what I'm
Applebee's,
saying.
and Outback,
It's like tier. It's like another tier of chain restaurants.
Yeah,
which would be in there with the Olive Garden, Red Lobster.
So you've got like your lowest rung, your Applebee's, Chili's, and then the next level up is Outback, Olive Garden, Red Lobster.
Yeah, perhaps even Bonefish Grill. I would put in there.
Okay, now that's interesting because I was going to propose that Bonefish was a level above that.
Well, what else? What other chain restaurants would you put in that?
Papados?
level?
Where are you at on Papados?
Oh, okay. Benihana, perhaps.
Yeah. See, I think there is a power ranking. I think we need to get a power ranking of these so that
A tier.
So a tiered system. So that's maybe you have a matrix.
Maybe we could have like a document for somebody that's caught in the situation. You could pass across. Listen,
yeah,
I've noticed your affinity for restaurants with consistent food. Let's just say, and so I will agree with going to these restaurants, but it has to be from tier 3 and higher.
Oh, see, I think that's the compromise. Maybe this is what we should have come up with, because you could do some type of scoring system where you're like, look, you're on the 17-day rotation with a dude. Then it's like, it's like you got to get to a certain amount of points on that trip. And like an Applebee's is 1 point, and then like, an independent place is like 7. So then you get your scorecard. I don't know. We'll have to workshop this a little bit, but I think we might be onto something.
We're going to need to. No, I think the goal would be like golf, where you have to keep the score low. So,
okay,
like the worse of the chain restaurant, like the lower the tier, the more the point value.
Okay, yeah. Either
like,
way, would work.
listen, Fred.
We're already at 6.
We're pushing
Fred.
20 points already.
Yeah.
Let's think about.
We're not going to breakfast at Bob Evans.
Yeah, it looks like no Starbucks today, pal. We're gonna have to find an independent coffee shop. How about that? Okay, let's start there.
All right. There's a farmer. Do you get negative points if you go to like a farmer's market? I don't know.
Anything locally sourced ingredients would be in the negative column.
Okay. All right. We'll get a list together, and then we'll have everybody rank them. And we'll get the tiers down, and then we'll have your
this sounds like
scorecard.
a really good project for you and Joel. So
when you
guys have that,
we're gonna make a ton of money on this. So yeah, that's definitely my area. Okay. All right. What else is in the mailbag, Joel?
Dear Dylan, Max, and Joel, I just listened to episode 101 and made my first subscription ever on YouTube to your show to watch the Dr. Broyhill segment. After the section with Chris and Jeremy about reduced pilot operations, you guys made a comment about wondering if anyone captured and categorized the decisions pilots make on a regular flight. Actually, there is. The Learning Improvement Team, LIT, a joint program between Allied Pilots Association and American Airlines, is doing that right now. They have line pilots who observe flights and capture what pilots do above and beyond SOP to make the flight successful. It's a relatively new program with a safety to philosophy mindset. I'm one of the new LIT Navigator Observer pilots. If you're interested in learning more about it, let me know. I can get you in touch with the program lead pilot. Might be an interesting podcast segment. Keep the greasy side down, Casey. Also, my 21.5 show sticker on my flat bag is well traveled and starting to wear through.
Oh, hint, hint. You know, what I would like to know, Casey, is is that a paid position? Like, is that volunteer, do you think? Or do you think that's like a paid
I bet it's
position where he's paid? I think so too, but I'd like confirmation.
Wouldn't it be great to have somebody like that observe a leg with Ted, who only does the SOP, the bare minimum? Speaking of like low scores, like our restaurant score, that would be that would be an incredible low scores. Only did what was in the book.
Only wears a headset that's
company
located
headset
in the aircraft.
Yeah.
Before he shows up.
0. That is interesting, Casey. Thank you for writing in. Would be interested to hear more about what the findings are. Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Interested? Beyond SOP sounds like a good name for a podcast.
Maybe like a really good briefing.
Beyond SOP to me is like, it's the extra. Here's something beyond SOP. Here's a good example of something I've seen people that are very skilled do. They can detect potential delays and head them off. Here's a good example. I flew with a captain in Chicago. And as you remember, Max, in Chicago, oftentimes you would arrive at the airport and you would not have a gate, right? And they would start literally, as soon as you took off, if the conditions were kind of prime for like gate holds, they would be grinding the dispatcher for a gate the entire flight. How's our gate? Do we have a gate? What's the gate? And I was like, man, this guy is just relentless. But I'll tell you what, we always had a gate when we landed, not SOP.
Did you ever inform him of the fact that while you're holding out for a gate, you are getting paid still versus pulling into the gate and opening the door when you stop getting paid?
Listen, at American Eagle Airlines, everything was about.
You were all about that A+14 bonus.
Yeah, A+14.
Very generous bonus at American Eagle back then.
Exactly.
That's the kind of listen, kids. That's the kind of bonus we were worried about, was trying to get our like $100 for meeting the A+14, like within 14 minutes of your arrival time. You know, whatever percent of the time they would give us some meager bonus. Now these guys are getting $100,000 just to stick around,
just to show up. We would, and here was the best part: it was tied to the entire airline's operations for the quarter. So if the entire airline had a certain percentage of flights arrive within 14 minutes of its arrival time, then everyone got like $70. So you had almost zero control over everything, and that was
a lot of incentive. It
was huge.
I appreciated the effort, at least.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm sure your airline specializes in going above and beyond. So I imagine that would be it'd be interesting to compare one airline to another. And then, Casey, if you really want to have your mind blown, come sit in the jump seat on a business aviation flight. Watch me argue with the caterer about breakfast burritos and then grind the Avis desk to drop off a car for somebody after hours. Then you'll know all about it.
Really watch about making it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Tried to defrost the lav receptacle with a hairdryer.
All right. I think that's it for the fan mail. Let's moving on.
Oh, I think there's actually more.
Hold on. Love your show. Listen to you all on my drive in the morning, which makes it go quickly. Thank you. One thing I find kind of funny is I listen to you through Apple Podcasts, which has no pictures, and I try to picture what you look like from your voices. Is it me, or does Max kind of sound like Bert from Sesame Street? Especially in a way when he yells or pokes fun at Joel. I don't know, but I always picture Bert when Max is talking.
I think Joel wrote this, so I don't make fun of him as much. He wrote this so that way I think twice before I poke fun at him. Is it your brother, Joel? Did you put him on? Is this ChatGPT that you put up to this?
It's another one of his bots.
Do I sound like Bert?
I'll be honest with you. Like, I can picture... I can picture Bert and Ernie, but I couldn't tell you which one's which. Could you?
Ernie. Bert's the yellow one with the really pointy head, a little bit of hair. And Ernie's the one with the football-shaped head that is orange in color. Hey, Bert.
That's pretty good. Wow.
That was pretty good. Can you do that again?
Maybe I should be specializing in Ernie.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to.
Anyway.
That's not what came to my mind, but visit our YouTube channel. You can see exactly what.
I haven't, but I did one time get in the van at like really early in the morning at a hotel, and we're sitting there, and the flight attendant was talking to me, and I was like a couple rows back in the van or whatever, and we were talking, and the dude, you could see like he whipped around like he had a realization. He goes, "Are you Max from the podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, you have a really recognizable voice. And when you were talking, I knew I recognized that voice, and then it finally hit me. That's when he whipped around, like, in his eureka moment. So maybe I do. I don't know.
Max, every time you get on a crew van, you should always say flexibility is the key to air power. Just lead off with that, and then
I'll do that.
People know.
Announce that.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Everybody will think I'm in the Air Force then. Oh, what squadron are you from?
It'll be great. I want to talk about one last thing in the mailbag here, and that is something I got in the physical mail, and from Intelligent Engraving, and that is I ordered some new crew tags for my luggage. I sent you guys a picture of them. They are so cool. It's like these metal engraved crew tags, and it's done by a fellow professional pilot. We'll have a link to their store so you can check it out. But you can put whatever logos you want on there. Like his demo is really funny. He's got this crew tag with the New Balance logo on it. It's really good. And then they put a QR code with your like that. If you scan it, it fills in your contact card for like your iPhone. So people can get your number or your email or whatever, and then you can put your name, or you can put like, Falcon Pilot or whatever. So I ordered a couple of them and they made some really cool ones. And I guess he's a fan of the show and made us a couple cool like podcast ones too. And they do dog tags, crew tags. So we'll have a link in the show notes for that. Intelligent.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And it's kind of a metal crew tag because my crew tags get destroyed. So I thought this was kind of smart. We'll see what happens when we go through the old metal detector. I like the.
Well, you don't usually drag your bag through there, do you?
Well, yeah, it goes through the X-ray machine. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant.
You're trying to walk through the metal detector.
Wouldn't that be great to get a red crew tag and then just put like Applebee's, Chili's, Outback, just like all of them, all the restaurant logos on there as a red flag?
That would not be cool at all.
Yeah, just to warn everybody. Or with the like the circle and the slash through them, just so you'd send a message. You'd set the tone right away.
I was just at work the other day, and we were in Salt Lake, and I wanted to go to this Nashville hot chicken place called Pretty Bird. I think I want to say you told me about it, but anyway, it's been on my want to go list, and it's a walk, a little 15-minute walk or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And he's like, yeah, I love that. So we'll go. So we meet downstairs, and we literally go to walk out of the hotel to start walking there. And this, I can't tell you, it was like a movie. We literally walk up just before the doors open, and this torrential downpour just started. We just look at each other like, you want to just eat at the hotel again for the 9,000th time? Yep, sure. So in the back of the hotel.
Nashville is notorious for that too, man. Those storms come in, and it can be intense. I've been caught in a couple of those.
Yeah, well, I was spared this time. Luck was on my side.
All right. Well, you'll have something to look forward to next time. Pretty Bird. Let us know.
I wish Red Iguana was a little closer. Anyway.
Okay. That's going to do it for the mailbag. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. info@215podcast.com. If you have some comments to share, thoughts on our chain restaurant ranking, pyramid, etc. We'll be working to construct that. Thanks to Aircrew Academy for their continued sponsorship of this incredibly educating segment.
Interesting segment.
Yeah, that's right. You never know what you're going to get. All right, Max, on to the main event with Robb Patton. If you're laughing so far, that's a good sign, because you're going to be laughing a lot more when we chat with Robb. He's going to share how they created some of these incredible educational and humorous aviation videos. Have you seen the Ice Maybe video for the Challengers? If you haven't, you're in for a real treat. Let's go. Max, we are so excited to come back from summer vacation and have Robb.
Are we though?
Yes, I am. I'm excited to talk to Robb today. Robb is with Highbrow Safety, and he is joining us today to share a little bit about the incredible work that they are doing to educate pilots in business aviation with using humor. Hi, Robb.
How's it going?
Welcome to the program.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, Robb, folks might not recognize your name, and they may not recognize Highbrow Safety, but some people might recognize the Ice Maybe video that launched on Pilot social media earlier this year. And if you haven't seen it, we're going to have a link in the show notes for it. But it came at the most perfect opportune time. I was in Challenger 350 initial when you dropped this. And this is basically, Max, a music video for the Challenger 350 to talk about all of the things you need to remember for winter ops.
Genius.
Sung to Ice Baby.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I have not heard this.
Yeah. So we're going to play this some clips for Max in a second, Robb. But can you first tell us a little bit about how you got into making parody music videos about French-Canadian airplanes?
So this all started about 5 years ago when I took on the safety spot at the current department. The director, I had been around for over 20 years, and he trusts me implicitly, obviously. We were having a lot of bird strikes. So I purchased some rubber chickens, and I did a bird strike video with the rubber chickens being the narrators. And that was for interdepartment stuff only. He also knew about my past stand-up comedy. He had come to some of my shows when I was doing stand-up. And like I said, he trusted me a lot. So after the rubber chickens hit pretty good in the department, his big thing was the GOM. So we created a GOM video I was a preacher. I found a church and I actually got behind the pulpit and I was preaching the GOM.
I've seen this video. It is, it's amazing. I wish I could have been in the pitch meeting for this one with your boss.
He expects, he really knows me after this long, but like I said, he trusts me too. So the biggest kick out of this was during the audit period. He chose to show all of our internal videos to the auditor, and she was in tears laughing. So we just kind of snowballed from there. Winter was coming up and we wanted to do something for all the small print. Most of the AFMs are thousands of pages. So we wanted to do something for the stuff that could really get you in trouble.
Yeah.
And I rewrote that song. It took me like 2 weeks in Teterboro to rewrite that song. And we kind of went from there. We just shot it probably 4 times.
It's funny you say that because I feel like this whole thing started with, remember that Teterboro song that was on?
Oh, yeah. Who's the NetJets pilot? You know who we're talking about, Robb?
I do. He's really good. I can't remember his name though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But he had a song about Teterboro, right?
Yeah, it was like take it to Kokomo.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Funny you mentioned that.
That was good. So we kind of pushed this out for internal use. And then I thought it would be good to get it out a little more. So I posted it on social media. And I guess it was last week, I had a guy text me and say, I had my ICE detected cast message come on. The first thing I thought about was you in a fur coat. So it works.
Let's have Joel roll this just so that Max can witness this live. He's never seen it before, so I think this will be great. A little live reaction. Go ahead, Joel.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it. All right, stop. Cooperate and reason. Ice is back with a brand new season. Something grabs a hold of you nightly, sticks to the wings and tail. Likely, will it ever stop? Yo, probably so. De-ice the plane, and I will go to the extreme. Ice is like a vandal. Use the right times. Let's burn this candle. Spray when they hit you with the juice. Make sure you know the times before they turn you loose. Oil when it's cold to me. Anything less than 15 is a felony. Bleed it and leave it, better that way. APU got a funk and this kid don't play. If there's a comp, yo, I'll solve it. Second page index while my FO resolves it. Alright, check this. Now that the fuel is pumping, with the temps all the same, the skin won't be clumping. Quick to the point, no faking. No FCOM 1 with no mistaking. Burning them, if you ain't quick and nimble, don't turn the wings on if they dribble. Trim the stab with a souped up tempo, before you wanna roll. Yeah. Rolling in my 350 with my visor down so I can block the glow. The ice is on standby, waiting to supply. Did you just drop? No, I just flew by. 70% in the descent to the next fix. I bust a left, headed to the next 6. The ice was done, yo, so I continued to TEB. Teterboro Avenue. Temps were hot, more than 10. All I thought was I'm here again. Jealous, cause my landing was divine. Shaq is our stage, and Evan is 9. We're getting off on a Rudy 4. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
Dude, that's pretty good.
So good.
And those of you, obviously, that are just listening, you have to watch the video. That's twice as funny.
Oh my gosh.
I thought the production quality was pretty good, man, for your first one.
Well, Dylan has seen Friends in Cold Places, and I think he can attest to the production quality being stepped up as a result of the people we brought on board.
It reminds me of the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say we understand that completely.
Made a little bit of an evolution, but I want to know. So for folks that have not seen the video, go watch the video. One of my favorite parts is when you did the knuckle tattoos of temp comp. I have so many questions about how you dream this up, but maybe this is a good place to start. Like, what is your process to come up with some of this stuff?
So, Ice Ice Baby was kind of a parent song for any kind of ice stuff.
Right.
And I've done comedy for years. I did informal comedy, and then I've done stand-up with like Mike and Molly, Billy Gardell, John Reep, a lot of good people, Mark Eddy. So my brain thinks like that. And I've been flying professionally for 23 years. So it's really like a clash of how my brain works with the analytical side of flying. And so I sit down and write down all the lyrics, and then I'll change one word at a time and have it fit. And as I'm doing this, I go back and look at it, like I'll go away and then I'll come back and go, hey, it'd be funny if I had temp comp on my knuckles, or all that kind of stuff.
Funny. You nailed it.
Yeah.
So it just kind of evolves. I start off with a song, and then it just evolves from there. Every time I go back to it, I add more.
And I'm sure the thing is too, they would make that 3 times as funny as if you flew the Challenger and you understood what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like because I'm.
That's true. Most of it,
yeah, it's clearly limitations of whatever, but
yeah.
So how hard, you have a co-star in this film?
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it to recruit your other star in for that?
I think he was super duper reserved about doing that. As a matter of fact, I peeked my head the day we were filming. The most of that, I peeked my head in the director's door, and he was like, "Hey." I mean, I won't say his name, but he was like, hey, that guy does not want to film with you today. And I just looked at him and said, tough, he's going to do it. And I took the gold chain and the flat bill out there, and he was in. So that is the same guy that also is Wyatt Wingett, which is the main character in that global video.
Yeah. So he came back for more. So that's good testament. So how long does it take you, aside from the writing, but when you've got to shoot all this, I mean, this has got to take a couple days at least, right? To get all the footage?
Yeah, it takes, well, for instance, right now, Hello ATC is being written. So it took me 3 weeks to write the song, to change the lyrics, to keep going back and making sure all of that was done. I have a friend that works in the command center in DC. So you have to kind of bounce stuff off of subject matter experts. And I mean, that was the EASA was involved with that too. So just making sure that all of that is good. After that, I send it to Studio L up in Pittsburgh. And it's a guy named Mark Eddy. He sang the Ice Ice Maybe, and he also sang Friends in Cold Places. So he has to locate talent. In that case, it was an Adele person that could sing, and she did a great job. But it was like the word edicts was in there, and they don't know aviation terms at all. Yeah. So it was a conversation with them while they're in the studio.
Can we hear that one? It's killing me.
So she did that, and we had to end up changing a couple lyrics of that song. And then I would say the whole thing takes about 2 months start to finish, because there's locations.
Yep.
Like we're using a real tower to film it, and we had to make 100 origami cranes, and we have to tape those all over the tower.
Who made those?
I mean, there's just crazy stuff involved in a lot of this.
But that's what it takes to make it good, is you have to put the effort. It's kind of funny. When we started the show, we've listened to podcasts, and we've listened to podcasts with crappy audio, and it's just, it doesn't matter how good the content is. It's unlistenable.
Yeah.
And that's what we always said from the beginning. It's like, we're not going to do it unless we can keep the audio quality, which is basically all we could manage was keeping the really good. And then we had to bring in Joel for the rest. But yeah, that stuff is so important. So, but it takes a lot of work. People don't realize like how much.
No. Funny story, that Ice Ice Maybe. So I wrote the lyrics and all that. So I sent the lyrics to a gentleman on Fiverr, which is like a freelance website, right? And I'm like, hey, this guy has really high ratings. He can rap, blah, blah, blah. It came back and it was no good at all. We couldn't use any of it. So I ended up having Studio L and Mark Eddy do that one as well. Same thing, the quality, and that was for the first one. But for Friends in Cold Places, I mean, I hope you guys can play maybe a 10-second clip of that or whatever. The studio quality is it's unbelievable. Kind of what you were saying, Max. It's day and night difference.
Okay. Well, Joel says he's ready. So let's get a clip of the next Friends in Cold Places video. I think you're really going to enjoy this.
Blame it all on N2. I showed up with you at 76%, I swear. Last one to go. Left rudder, I know. I trimmed the nose full down with care. I saw the temps rise, 20C applies when the oil has to maintain. And I told you 4872, clean the brakes to sustain. 'Cause I got friends in cold places where the Type 4 drowns and alcohol chases my eyes away. And we'll be on our way.
That's funny.
I mean, that's like, it's the vocal is so close to the original. It's awesome.
The problem is, dude, the lyrics that you're working with is tough. Like, it's not like it's like 70% N2. Like, how do you work that into a country song?
It's a lot of conversations with Mark. Like, I'll send him all this stuff, and he's slowly learning airplanes, but he's been doing musical comedy for over 30 years. So, and he's done stuff for Nickelodeon, really steep resume as far as singing and the latitude he can cover with voices. So it really helps with somebody with that. And then I can teach him stuff like, hey, like in that particular one, like I said, he's a comedian also. So there's a thing, I said, this certain thing is a no-no. And he said, what about nay, nay? And he said, we can add tracks to have all the crowd in the video say nay, nay. And I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. But he knows the parts that I need to get across. Again, that's several conversations into the production. But he did a great job with that one.
So this one you said was for the global, which you don't fly, right? So, I mean, so how do you find the information? You bring in like a technical advisor that's like a Global Express pilot?
Yes, I've had a couple people contact me, but I need to do fact checking. There's a lot of stuff. There's manuals to go through
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that to find out, the real numbers and where it is, all of that. So that work takes a long time to make sure before I even start adding the lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys too probably have tons and tons of corporate people that have been flying a certain airframe forever.
Yeah. You can bring them in. Oh, that's so cool. So, let's talk a little bit about why you're doing this. Why are you using humor to educate? Why does using humor educate work? It's part of it. It kind of makes sense. Catchy songs stick in your head, But talk a little bit about what you've discovered using humor to help pilots specifically, not a group that you normally associate with humor. How does that work? Why is that working?
I think, there's a book called Humor Seriously, and it's 2 Stanford professors. And also the easiest way to find them is through a TED Talk. They had one of the top 10 most popular TED Talks last year. And they talked about the humor cliff and different things. They've done so much homework in the area of humor and how it helps, retention and all that, just culture, all that stuff. But we dug a little deeper in that, and the studies, Arizona State did a study a while back that proved retention is higher when oxytocin was present. So the prefrontal cortex is like ignited during that period. So that's the science of it, kind of. Why I'm doing this, I worked for an operation that lost an airplane, and we lost 10 people on board. And wasn't very long later, I went down to pick somebody up after they crashed. And you never want that phone call, first of all, ever, either one of those. So what my reason for this behind it is, if somebody can, just like I told you the text of somebody last week that said, when your ice detector came on, I thought about you in a fur coat. And that's awesome. But he also remembered, a couple of the points in that song. And that's really my goal. There's so many great training people out there. We're customers of Advanced Aircrew, and there's so many people doing great jobs with that stuff. We're just kind of going down a different route with the humor.
Yeah.
And it's all based on those studies.
And it works. That's the thing. I think that
and it's fun. It's a way more fun way to learn something than flashcards.
And I imagine it's very rewarding for you, Rob, because I'm just trying to think of my own experiences. I love to joke around, have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in a lot of flying environments where that doesn't fit very well with the culture or, the cockpit for whatever reason. I get it. It's no big deal, but it does feel like sometimes for me, like it's a part of me that I don't get to use, and it's sort of, I wonder, did you feel that same way too at some points, maybe like flying at the airlines?
I've felt that way my whole career until the past really 5 years. That rubber chicken was groundbreaking to be able to produce that and have the department watch it.
Yeah.
Make some headway. I think having a director or accountable executive or whoever, even part of the group that understands the science behind this, and it's kind of a new way of doing things instead of the same old way. That is where it kind of started, was 5 years ago. But yes, your point, I've felt that way, my whole career.
So how does this work? Does somebody contract you to make a song based on whatever content, or are you picking stuff to make and just letting it out? Or how does it work?
Well, I did the Ice Intercompany, and then I started getting, Facebook in particular, I started getting people saying, hey, can I use this in my presentation? Can I use this in my presentation? And I probably got about, 20 or so of those requests. And I'm like, absolutely. I did it to help everybody. So that's kind of how it started. I had another friend that's been in a global for some time, and he was like, hey, this will be awesome for the global. And I was like, well, give me some information. Let's get it out there. And at the same time, I've done some video gimbal work, drone, all that stuff, chase car stuff. So I had one of those guys reach out and say, he really loved what I was doing. And I said, you could help on the next shoot because production wise, he knows what he's doing. I'm just kind of like a weekend hack at it. So when he joined, it really became something to start looking at seriously because of the feedback that we got from Ice Maybe. And then with Mark on board up in Pittsburgh, it just seemed like a wheel that was really good because I'm a pilot / comedian. He's musician / comedian. And then the other part of this wheel is production and a learning management system, LMS. So it's just a great wheel so far. And that's kind of how it escalated. But yes, we are picking airframes based on what people are hitting us up for. Gulfstream 500, 600 hot water heaters video has been requested.
That's a thing. Huh?
That comes straight from the top, I imagine.
Yeah.
Straight from the top. They contacted me. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, we're having some real
This is the general dynamics here. So right now, are you funding these videos? Are people able to, like, how does that all work?
I'm funding the whole thing right now. There's a Japanese word called ikigai. And so it's basically what you love doing, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. And that's a word they have for it. And the production guy was like, I think this is your ikigai. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel the same way.
That's what the girls in college used to say about Dylan.
Yeah.
Icky guy, get away.
All right. Yeah, I've been there for a long time. I know exactly where you're at. So you're doing this out of the goodness of your own heart, essentially.
I think people, I would pay like a Kickstarter. Can you do this for like 737 limitations and stuff?
All day, every day. So basically, the Global was the first one that we put on our website that you can go buy. And right now, this has never been done. So the price point and all that stuff is kind of like, what are we doing? So really, we have the Global on there right now. And then there's going to be a technician one coming up called I Can't Get No Distraction. And that one will also have the Dirty Dozen points on it. So that'll be a revenue generating also. So eventually we're going to get revenue generating videos on there to service some of the debt that my wife has no idea that I have put into this.
And now, who's keeping all of these costumes?
Listen, we don't want to talk about that right now.
That's in a storage unit that goes back to the debt thing on the credit card, on the company credit.
I've seen a lot of mustaches, gold
wait. Yeah, so for the Friends in Cold Places, we bought over 100 mustaches for all the extras to use. So when all the extras got there, they're all of our buddies and all that, and they know airplane, but none of them have anything to do with flying except for the one mechanic sitting beside the main character. By the end of it, they were walking outside of that Western bar singing that song, like slats and flaps. They had no idea what they were saying. And they were wearing the mustaches. We have tons of costumes, and I mean, more to come for sure.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, we're just checking out the website. It's highbrowsafety.com, and it's got some of the courses that are available there. I'm just showing Max the picture for Friends in Cold Places there. The truck. If folks probably haven't seen this video, so I don't want to dive too deep into the weeds, but there's an old truck in the video. Can you just quickly, that was my first question, is where you got that?
So my wife and I have owned an event venue for about 9 years, and we do photo shoots, and we've had 2 films shot here. So we have access to lots of people that have lots of cool cars. And this was one of those. This gentleman brought it out for that shoot. The snow machine is ours.
The snow machine.
And it is super heavy. And when you're only 4'6", it's really hard to get the snow to go up high enough to go over the main character.
It's incredible. Well,
The snow machine.
yeah, it is. You do mention like the production quality between the two. You could see like, oh, okay, there's some serious effort and frankly money going into this operation. So your vision kind of is you're going to be working to create more and more safety courses on the website, specific topics probably, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like tell us where you think you see this could go in the future.
Well, we'll get around to all the airframes cold weather. We would like to get to the major airframes cold weather, because I think a lot of people that go to recurrent every year, they forget that stuff, or if their recurrent is in June or whatever. I think that's omissions that I'm just not happy with. So I want to get around to that. And then the tech side of things too. The soft skills, like I went to the Bombardier Safety Stand Down last year, and psychological safety, they offered 2 courses and they were both booked or overbooked. So I know the group as a whole is interested in more soft skills that haven't been around in the past or talked about as much or whatnot. So we really want to touch on some of those soft skills. And I hope to have hot weather, cold weather, and then, all that stuff. There's so many good people doing this out there, like I said earlier, but we're kind of going a different route. And as long as we can bring value to what we're trying to do and we can keep people from sliding off runways and stuff like that, it's a win.
Stabilized approach, freestyle rap. I'm trying to think where we go with that. Okay. Now the wheels are turning, so we can. So if people have ideas, then you're saying you're open.
Very.
People can request.
Yeah, anything that, and we've gotten something like the hot water heater system. They've been burning up because the procedure is not being followed. So I had a flight attendant reach out, and we wrote, "Where is the plug?" Because the main thing is they're not purging the system. So instead of "Where's the love" by the Black Eyed Peas.
The plug. Oh man, I can't wait to see the costumes you source for that one.
Yeah.
And then being able to have, like, if she can have access to that video and then shoot that video to someone that's new to the airframe, because it is a kind of a newer airframe, then if they save one hot water heater, it's a win.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Because we know the cost for Gulfstream parts.
Yeah.
So, it's a small investment.
Make a lot of videos with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
So, I mean, it's realistic to think you guys could create 3 videos a year, maybe 2-3 videos a year, you think?
We could do more than that. I've been like the scripts, I've been more focused now that it's becoming a little, it's like a boat just getting up on plane. I have a more defined part in it. I don't have to show up and direct necessarily, because I'm shooting the scripts to the production guy. And I think we could probably do 12, would be a little ambitious, but we could do 12 a year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What about, are you going to do anything just audio only? I mean, that would make it innumerably easier, right?
Yeah. It takes away a lot of humor opportunity.
The costumes, Max. Then
he's already got the snow machine. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, they've already
bought the crane and everything else, and the half pipe he's having built.
Come on, get the camera guys.
Keep going.
So Rob, bring us behind the curtain a little bit. You said you're making the next video, Hello ATC.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that. I don't know if you have any clips you can play, or you can talk about like how do you develop a couple lyrics or something like that. What can you share with us?
So with Hello ATC, I had the EASA safety guy reach out to me, and he said, "Hey, anytime you want to collaborate." And again, I'm like an open book. Anytime I can help, that's why I'm doing all this. So he sent me some constant complaints about their CPDLC. And one was, for instance, they're being cleared via, and they're just going direct instead of the via part. Another one is the uplink message is, when can you accept the climb? And they're just climbing. instead of doing that. So, and having to shoot a video, that one's going to be probably translated into 4 different languages. So when you start putting that song together, you have to keep subtitles in mind, lower third or whatever that is, or a more solid background. So I wrote the lyrics because Adele is kind of, worldwide. That song is safe to say. So, and you write a script based around those lyrics. And once you identify the talent that is going to do the Adele part, then you can start buying the props and outfitting. Like for this one, my wife's a painter and whatever. So she designed a shirt that has cleared via in all the languages, a t-shirt. So she will be wearing that for one of the scenes in the video.
Gee, this wasn't hard enough, so he had to take this on.
A little bit harder.
Jesus.
Yeah. So when we show up, like this talent, for instance, she has shot many things. So she's very familiar with how the script is laid out. And I just sent her the script, and no doubt she's super ambitious. She knows the script already. We're shooting it July 8th. And we will do some ad libs here and there, but the goal is to get this completely shot in about 14 to 16 hours.
Wow.
For a 3-minute song.
And you said it's in the tower cab.
Part of it's in the tower cab. Now she's going to smash old keyboards on the ground, because part of it too, Office Space style. So she's going to have a pilot walk right by her, and he has his headset on. He's not uplinked. So she's going to be angry and smash keyboards on the ground. So, and then she's going to hop in a Tesla and fly off. And the tag of the Tesla says cleared via.
And you're also going to shoot some stuff on an FMS CDU too?
Yes. Wow. Yeah. The cool part about this one is the talent is super good. She's done a lot of parts, but the pilot in this particular one is her dad. And I think it's cool that she could work with her dad in something that's going to be translated around the world.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's take a quick break from all the laughs with Robb to talk about something a little bit more serious. And that's your finances. When it comes to financial planning, Timothy P. Pope has got your back, so you can focus on the mission ahead. Tim is a certified financial planner, and he helps professional pilots design and execute smart financial planning strategies, from retirement planning, investment management, to military transition and tax planning. Tim is your financial planning partner. Timothy P. Pope. He helps professional pilots make the most out of life. And that's no laughing matter. All right, back to the show. Okay, do you have a line that you've written that you're particularly proud of? Maybe that you were able to squeeze in like Adele meets CPDLC. I don't even know what that would sound like. Like, give us an example.
Start?
Yeah.
So you guys I think you have the audio for sure. When we were typing, when we were clicking the mic, you see, they kind of bring it back. And part of that whole song is guys not logging in the CPDLC.
All right. Joel, I can't wait any longer. Drop the audio.
Hello, it's ATC. I was wondering if after all it takes you like to me to go over this very thing. They say that uplink's supposed to peel ya, but I ain't had much dealing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in Chicago Center dreaming about who we used to be when we were clicking the mic. You see, I've forgotten how it felt before uplink CPDLC. There's such an interference between us. plus and 8.52 miles. Hello from the other side. I must have typed 1,000 times. I'm telling you, clear to the end, this specific route, but when no time, you never seem to be home. Hello from the ATC. At least I can say that I'm time to tell you the airplane that you can now depart, but it don't matter. You clearly didn't log in again.
Hello? Work with me, people.
That's great. Dude.
Unbelievable. But I mean, that is a talented voice actress you got there. That's
is.
not easy.
No, actually, Mark was sending me clips during the day at the studio, and I mean, they were peaking on a lot of that because she has unbelievable
Yeah.
pipes. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's back to the point that you and Max were talking about earlier. Like, if you're going to do something like this, you have to execute at a very high level to make
Makes
it work.
10 times funnier.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
when
it's gotta be really good. And Adele is probably has one of the most iconic voices in the world. So to be able to,
project.
yeah. Wow.
I can't wait to see the video.
And
When's
then I
that
love-
gonna be out?
We'll shoot it July 8th, and then I go to Recurrent. So I'm guessing third week of July.
Wow. That's
funny.
going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 8.52 miles is 45,000 feet. I'm proud of that one too.
That's pretty. I missed that one.
Oh my God.
Wow. And you're just creating all this now for this one specifically because you're collaborating with EASA. Do you make a draft and then you send it to them?
Yeah, I sent him the lyrics that I had, and he was like, he's the coolest guy ever. John Franklin. I mean, like an unbelievable guy. He is really out of the box. He came up with something a long time ago called the Fod Father. I mean, that is brilliant. When he said that, I'm like, okay,
we're in.
Here we go.
We're on the same page. That's
so once I sent him the lyrics and he was like, sent me those constant complaints, then you just the song starts working.
Yeah. This is going to be incredible. I can't believe you're going to do this in like multiple languages too. That's even more ambitious. But give me your dream project. Is there one that you think someday this is your like cornerstone?
Not to put you on the spot, Rob, but
is there one that you're just thinking about that you're just like, God, if I could ever, I know in that brain you've got some ideas and something.
Oh, what would be the one? I would think that getting on a brand new aircraft, whatever that airframe is that just came out, and being able to jump on that with some kind of Jimmy Buffett song with inflatables and hula skirts. And that would be something I can go to bed at night and be like, I'm done.
You've done this. You've done it
live on stage at BAA premiere.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Normally they hire all those people in dresses and skirts.
Well, last year was Dirk Bentley, folks, but this year
Textron presents
hula skirted Robb Patton.
Yeah,
here we go, folks.
Here we go. Wow. Do you think there's ever do you think it's possible you could collaborate with the training centers at some point? Do you think that's maybe in the future? Would you want to do that?
I've been asked that. And, they have writers at, these places. So I think they write the content and the test material and all that. I do know, I have heard that Ice maybe showed up in a couple of those training centers. I've heard that from 3 different training centers. And I think it's brilliant. I'm not trying to, whatever. I think it's brilliant as long as it can help people out. But
I mean, they will be hearing from your attorney, obviously, the royalties.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, I'm very happy.
It's just the one guy that's not funny at Highbrow Safety Works is their attorney.
I know.
No joke.
Yeah. So I think I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to do any of this. I think a lot of that is so regulatory.
Yeah.
That you're flipping the pages and looking at the words and here we go, let's take a break and all that.
I mean, the materials are already so riveting. I don't know if there's really a place for this, Rob.
It is so hilarious.
The way flight safety crafts those PowerPoint presentations is really a work of art. I mean, it's
basically
no
is stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it's just.
I was going to ask you earlier, but Rob, tell us a little bit about your stand-up background. Like, was it just sort of a hobby? Were you like seriously pursuing it? How did that go?
Yeah, I was like you were talking about earlier, like, you've worked and you're funny, or you know what I mean? You like humor and all that. So that's kind of how it was. So it was my quiet, alternate lifestyle. I had a lot of people saying, oh my God, you need to go on stage. Like it kind of always starts.
Yeah.
So I took a class in Charlotte and they taught mechanics of it at the local comedy zone. We had graduation night, whatever you want to call it. And a guy that books comedians at the back asked the instructor who I was because I was digging on one of the people that showed up. Her laugh was horrendous and I couldn't not say something. And made friends with a couple of those people. And then I did stuff with John Reap and Billy Gardell with Mike and Molly, the Mike character, Ralphie May. I did that for about 4 years.
So this is on stage, like stand up in a club?
Yep.
And this is after you're a professional pilot, or this was before? Okay.
No, this is after. I did some pilot stuff, but my best bit was aging Sesame Street characters. That hit harder than anything. So.
You were employed pilot at this time?
Yes.
Okay. Not a professional contract pilot?
No. So
wait, hold on a minute. What do you mean about the Sesame characters?
Well, I forgot the bit now a little, but it was like if Sesame, because they don't age. They look the same that they did 800 years ago. So I was like, Snuffy's got arthritis and he's dragging a leg, and Big Bird, most of his feathers fell out. I just went on, but it's really funny to think about.
That is funny.
So what about, like, here's what I always tried to do. And it didn't work that well, but I love to like joke around on the PA at the airlines. That was like about the only outlet I could find. Did you have a couple good bits on the PA?
I had a bit and it got me in trouble. So
good. Okay, go ahead. Quickly. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're number 4 departure. Please be assured your window is completely rolled up. About 10 seconds later, a flight attendant called us and she was like, there's a lady banging on the passenger. So like she's trying to figure out to make sure how to confirm her window is up. So I got in trouble for that one. But yeah, I did play around a little bit on the PA when I was there.
Here was my dream, Rob. I never did this, but I thought it would be so funny just to get on the PA and just say, please remain calm, and then just hang it up. Just say that.
Oh, that was good. I did wait for everybody to board. I did this a couple times. Of course, it depends on who you're flying with. But
yeah,
good other crew, and the whole crew was good. I turned around and I said, all right, we're going to wherever in the Midwest. Let me see a show of hands for Key West. And I remember like a 90-year-old guy leaning on the aisle, and I see his little hand go up. That was prior to 9/11, but that was one of my best ones.
I love it. Yeah, see, that was like the only outlet I had for that kind of stuff at the airlines. I felt like, and I made some missteps. I'll be the first to admit, on the old Saab 340 intercom, but it was a good time.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is viewed, humor on the PA, but humor in this field in general, is viewed as a weakness or something that you're trying to cover up or whatever the case is. And the more studies and the more information that gets out there, if you could peel back the why of whatever that is, then you get to the serious part. I was doing a presentation for a safety platform. It had like 400 and something people on it. I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation and somebody wasn't muted. And they were like, I showed my rubber chicken video and they were like, this is ridiculous. And then they signed off. And I had somebody text me later and they were like, hey, would you want to fly with that person? I'm like, no, I would not want to fly with that person. But I get it. I get it. But I just think it's a misstep for a lot of times. It's a misstep to judge like that.
Yeah, it's true. And some of the most memorable pilots that I flew at the airlines were always the funny captains because there were so few. I think, at least at my airline. I don't know. You probably find more.
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of the flight attendants, man, really steal the show.
Yeah,
like some of them have some pretty good bits. Like I was in a deadhead and I was pissed off too. It was like rushing over there. I'm like, God, I know I'm going to be in the middle seat. I'm like the last person to get on the airplane. I'm just irritated. And the flight attendants were so cool. They saved us an overhead bin, saved us aisle seats. I was like, yeah. And then this guy, I had my AirPods in, to tune everything out. And the flight attendant had this perfect like radio voice. And he was doing this PA, and I see people around me laughing because I wasn't, and I was like, what? I take my AirPods out and caught the last, 70% of it. And it was freaking hilarious, dude. Like he had everybody laughing out loud hard.
But they were paying attention to what he was saying. And he probably threw in a couple of like valuable pieces of information they do, you know?
Oh, he did. It was exactly to the T, all the regulatory stuff. And then he would say that. And then, the punchline would be right after that. And it was hilarious. And then, but I've flown with dudes that are hilarious. That like I had one guy that it took me a couple legs to catch on, but he'd be like, hey, I told you about this before. I think on behalf of your pilots up front, Hans Gruber and John McClane, welcome aboard. And he would go through characters from movies like from the 90s and the 80s and like John Candy. And I wasn't really paying attention because you don't really listen.
Yeah.
And one time I caught him like, did you just say? And he's like, it was hilarious, dude. Like Tommy Boy, all the
Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan.
It's funny how many people just goes right over their head.
Right.
But a passenger, would come and be like, that was pretty funny. I caught that.
I got that. Yeah, give you the knowing look. But it's just back to your point, Rob, of humor, using it as a teaching tool. So, if you think about kind of your successes that you've shared, have there been any failures? Or have there been any lessons learned when you go on? And you're like, maybe this wasn't the right platform.
Yeah, there has. I had someone contact me about using our GOM video in a giant conference. And I did not think that was the best idea.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know. He said Santa Claus, and I'm like, that's not Santa Claus. And so just that was like, okay, that's our intercompany stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of thing. Of course, that goes with comedy right now too. You just have to do stuff like that. That's, I would say, the biggest misstep so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you got to know your audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So music videos, comedy learning courses. By the way, you fly airplanes.
Don't forget he owns an event venue.
An event venue, bubble machines, costumes. Of course, you have enough spare time to write a book on the side, right?
Of course, yeah.
What else do you think he does at cruise?
Of course.
Yeah.
So Max knows nothing about this book. So why don't you just tell Max about the book you wrote?
Okay, so I'm really passionate about the whole safety thing. They sent me to the islands for too long. And when that happens and I'm in a hotel room by myself, it's not good. And I have a Starbucks quad and it's who knows what happens next.
So you're up all night and
all night long. So I ended up writing a book called The Plane That Probably Could. Because the train could. He thought he could. I'm not sure how that ended. I don't know if he ever did. But the plane that probably could, and you say probably because you didn't run the specific takeoff numbers. And so, again, I said my wife was an artist. So she illustrated everything. She's also a pilot. She flew back before our little guy was born for a long time. That's how we met. And she understands everything. I'm like, oh, yeah, draw this. And she's like, oh, okay. So she did the illustrations. I wrote the book, and it's based on specific takeoff performance. So a Challenger 350 is a main character called Trefiddy. Trefiddy. And probably is something I stole from a comedian I did a lot of work with too. She said probably all the time. I'm like, that's a brilliant word. And it's been really good. It's for adults and it's at Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and mostly kids are buying it, which is perplexing to me. I don't know if they get any of it, but my wife's friend made it all rhyme. She said, do you want to rhyme it? And then we can, it'd be kind of for everybody if we just rhymed it. It's a complete story. At the end, he realizes that it's easy to do the right thing. So there is a
now
story
you just ruined
there.
the whole book.
We were on the edge of our seats. We didn't know if he probably was going to make it or he probably wasn't.
He learned he should probably do the work, and this the wizard that can spit the information out in seconds.
Oh my God. Tree Fitty had obstacles, as anyone would. How he learns to overcome them is really quite good.
This is a good book. You should have carry one around in your flight bag when you fly with the dude.
A contractor.
the numbers are always the same. Be like, listen,
here.
There's this book I'd really like you to read.
Yeah.
And it's rhyming. I'm going to read it out loud to you. Let's get a hot cup of tea.
What time do you go to bed? Normally?
Yeah.
I'll just come to your room.
Meet me in the lobby in 15 minutes.
Yeah, wear something comfortable.
It's amazing. And it's funny, too, because as soon as I opened it up, my kids grabbed it. And they're like, read us this book. And I was like, all right, I don't know if this is exactly what you think it is. But
I'm sure Gavin made it up.
Yeah. But I mean, what a fun outlet that must have been to do that. And this was before you started making the movies, right? Or the videos?
This was after Ice Maybe.
Oh, it was?
And
okay.
Yeah, it was after that. And when I kind of was like, okay, well, we can do a book, right?
Yeah.
And my wife's kind of like, yeah, let's figure it out. So we did that. And we're writing a second one now called Marvin Flies to the Map, which is Mr. Approach Point. And I talked to an instructor and they were telling me the constant complaints that they have in the sim. And that's one of them, being smooth. So Marvin, I'm going to give a little bit away. Marvin hangs up flying and goes to pursue a singing career. And it's Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Because he's smooth and he's, that's kind of the persona. So that's what it's going to be. That'll be out probably in 3 months.
Wow. Well, Rob, I want to be the first to thank you for all of the amazing content that you're creating. Like I said, this video dropped literally the day we were doing cold weather in my 350 initial. Like it was like,
where did you see it?
Someone posted, was it on, it was on one of the Facebook groups. I can't remember which one, or you probably put it on multiple ones. And we put it on, I watched it on the break, the last 10 minutes of every hour, a break, at the training center. And then we walked in with my coffee and I'm like, we got to play this. And then we spent, 10 minutes figuring out how to connect it to the projector. And the instructor watched it and he's like, this is incredible. Where did this come from? And so it was just like this amazing training tool that just dropped right into our lap right when we needed it the most. So
God, I would think one of the training providers could contract with you. Yeah, that would really sway my decision on which one to go to. If
right.
One was funny.
Exclusivity deal.
It's so
I was talking to Max about this. Rob, do you know in the South they have those comedy defensive driving classes you have to go to get your he hadn't heard about this. Texas is a big one.
Yeah, why would I have heard about?
Well, I don't know.
That?
Maybe you had a just because it's the comedy kind. But if you get a traffic violation in Texas, you have to go to traffic school. And so they make this comedy traffic school you can go to as an option. It's the same type of principle, right? Oh, you got to go sit for 6 hours and learn, well, let's make it enjoyable and maybe you'll actually remember something.
Well, our last episode, did you listen to that, Rob, about the comedy FERC idea that we came up with?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant.
Don't steal it, Rob, because you'll do it way better than us.
You're going to do it way better than us. You got to be careful.
No, you guys know what you're doing. But I really thought about how my wife does FERC when you guys were talking about that.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I'm like, yeah, this will be brilliant to do. But like I said, I mean, it's 12 a year is insanely busy to pull that off. So an entire FERC, I mean, you're talking about a giant curriculum, but would it be fun? Absolutely. It would be a blast to come up with that.
We need a really, really long trip to the islands. Sounds like. That's the inspiration, right?
Let's do it. You're in the 350 now. Let's go.
Let's go. We need a trip to somewhere that's.
I need to go back to my old job with those 40-day Europe trips.
I need a 40-day trip to Midland, Odessa, or something. Oh man, yeah. Oh man. Well, Rob, the website where folks can find more information about what you guys are up to is at highbrowsafety.com. You can see the courses that are available. I'm excited. Are you going to be able to are you going to put a clip on social media when you finish Hello ATC, or how are we going to be able to see some of this?
I will. We're trying to kind of keep it all in one place. So it will be on the website for sure. And we'll probably have 10-second clips on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Perfect. We will have all that information in the show notes, so people won't miss a single thing that you create. Again, hats off to you and your team for creating educational and entertaining content. That's the goal we're all in, right? I mean, we're all trying to do the same thing. I think you're doing an awesome job. Really appreciate it. So thanks for coming on the show, Rob.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Rob. Great work.
Yeah, man.
Well, that does it for our interview with Rob. God, the amount of effort he's putting into his craft is just inspiring.
I salute him. Way more effort than we put in, yeah.
It's incredible, dude. Because just making the song alone, I mean, take it, Dylan. I don't know if you remember the one time I created a comedic
song. God. Joel, if we have video of this, I'm going to send it to you. Max wrote a song for his best man speech. It was a rap. For one of our best friends got married, and Max wrote a rap that was unbelievable. I think there's gotta be we have a recording of that somewhere, right?
I actually have it on YouTube, private YouTube.
Oh, you do? Oh,
yeah. It's only
Joel. Can you superimpose Bert's head over to anonymize Max? Will you put Bert's head from Sesame Street over so they'll make it?
Let's see here.
Yeah. And see, now here's the thing, Max, we joke about this, but Chat GPT could write something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And take all of that creativity away very quickly.
That would be tough though, because
you could fine tune
people that were getting married,
but it could help you make rhymes if you fed it the right things. So I don't know. It was a real labor of love.
My point being is that just creating the song and the lyrics and all of that is hard enough, but the production quality into the video element of it is that's like if we did this podcast on video all the time. No, that would be exhausting. We'd have to hire like 3 more Joels.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough material to make fun of 3 guys.
No. That'd be the whole show.
Can you imagine? Then think about all the preparation I would have to do.
Yeah, this would be unbelievable. So yeah, it's amazing. And so I can't wait for this Adele video to be coming out. It's crazy that he's like, yeah, they made this own video, and then all of a sudden EOS is coming to him and they're like, hey, can you make a video?
That's what when he said that, I was like, whoa.
EOSA.
EOSA now?
Yeah. So we'll definitely when that one comes out, we'll definitely share those clips with you.
We did get a sneak peek of it though. We have to be honest, after the recording.
It was amazing.
It's incredible, dude. It is. It's even a whole nother level from his other one. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. All right. Up next is Flight Advice, where we give free and sometimes valuable information and advice to young aviators out there, which of course is brought to you by our friends at Harvey Watts, the largest insurer of loss of license insurance in the world, insuring thousands of pilots at almost all major airlines, including corporate pilots. If you don't have it and you're a pro, you need it. So harveywatt.com, check them out. Get a quote. Go ahead, Joel.
I was recently hired first officer at Wheels Up. Obviously, it's a very fluid situation right now as to what is going to happen next. I only have 100 hours of turbine time right now. Should I bail right away to the first regional that'll hire me, or ride it out and get as much time as I can and try to go to a low-cost carrier?
First of all, a turbine is something in a dam. It's giving you a hard time, Joel.
Turbine time. Yeah, all right.
So Here's what I think about this. These companies in business aviation that have these very rapid expansions.
Yeah.
And then you get into this situation right here. And in my experience, this situation that Wheels Up is in the news and what you're hearing is in the quote unquote very fluid situation that's being experienced right now usually ends with a rapid implosion about as quickly as it grew. And that, like, remember Sentient, like, where they're buying all these certificates and back in the day, and it's huge, and we're gonna take over, and all of a sudden it just imploded. Like, I mean, like overnight, dude. So the thing is, what's really the risk at hanging out? Like, it's not like you're not going to be able to get a job somewhere if they do close up shop. So, you know, I don't think the music's going to stop and you're going to be left, you know, living in your parents' basement again. So
I would say, I agree. Especially if you only have 100 hours turbine time. The most important thing for you to do right now is to quickly get as much flight time as you can. Now, do you have 5 children and you're living paycheck to paycheck and, you know, you don't have any emergency fund? Okay, well, that might be, you know, that might change things a little bit. But I think you have to be prepared to get a phone call that says, do not come to work today. The airplanes are all parked. And if you're okay getting that phone call and you're not going to starve, I say keep flying there. Get as much time as you can. Obviously, you're working on your resume, you're networking, you're preparing your applications for other places. But we have definitely seen, I mean, it just happened to Jet It, right? Like, they called the pilots at the hotel, like, don't come in.
Game over.
It's over. So, I mean, don't think that they're going to give you, you know, like 8 weeks notice so that you have plenty of time to get your ducks in a row. But with that being said, if you're comfortable with a little bit of uncertainty, great, you know, log as much time as you can. Because I imagine, I'm just going to guess that you can fly as much as you want if you're a Wheels Up pilot right now.
Yeah, I think the only risk basically is that, kind of to what you were saying before, is that you may have a gap in income. Yeah. Because if the music stops and you're, you know, on your overnight, and all of a sudden it's like, I need, you know, you can't just show up at knock on the corporate office of the regional and start class the next day. Like, there's a process there that takes a little bit of time. And so that's where you're going to have, whereas if you prospectively try to get a job to then leave, you know, you would have almost no gap in income. So I think that's your risk right there is because right now the risk of not getting another job is pretty low if you.
Yep. Which goes to show, I mean, you know, we say at the end of every show, flexibility is the key to air power. And, you know, oftentimes you think about like the operating an airplane and the flexibility and that kind of stuff. But it also means that in your personal life, your financial situation is in a place where you have flexibility to potentially take a different job or not work for a little while. And so if you are in a situation where you have a cushion for a few months, you know, in this business, you can't usually just start at a new job the next day. It usually takes, I don't know, at least probably 3 months, right?
Yeah, who knows nowadays?
Sometimes,
I don't know.
I mean, you got to plan. I mean, but wouldn't you say like at least like you would want 3 months worth of money to live on?
Yeah, I think that
at
would
least
be reasonable.
Yeah. So, but I don't have a problem with you staying if you're willing to take the risks. Build that flight time. Go for it. Good email. Let us know what happens. If you've got a question for flight advice, you know where to find us, info@215podcast.com, or you can visit our website and fill out the anonymous flight advice form. We're happy to tackle your questions. If you have a specific diamond dog that you'd like to
call out, call into action.
Call them out.
I just want to throw out there too that Dylan and I have discussed, and we are interested in inducting Ted into being a diamond dog. So if you have any questions for Ted, he is available.
Yeah. How to go above and beyond.
Yeah.
What above the SOP to do. How to entertain passengers at the gate during a delayed flight.
The intricacies of commuting.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yep. New diamond dog. Great. Okay. I think that's going to about do it here for number 103, Max. Anything else you need to add before we hit the road? What do you got any personal aircraft trips coming up we need to be aware of? I'm the only one flying not flying piston airplanes around apparently.
Yeah. I like that. I like that the producer's outflying you in general aviation. Yeah, I'm going to Telluride on Friday, extremely early in the morning to beat the heat here in Phoenix. Yeah.
Instantaneous wins available there, or
only what the AWOS will provide. And no, I take that back. You can call the Unicom for some instantaneous wins there.
You know what? I want to give you a little flight simulator confession. You call me a geek sometimes. Often, I would say. So, as you know, my son's super into airplanes, and we downloaded X-Plane and we fly it. And so I can't remember. I think it's a Global Express is what comes with the game. But I've always dreamed in Telluride of what it would take to shoot the approach to runway 9, just runway 27, down the canyon, over the town and in. So I've been doing that. I did that in the sim. Have you done that?
I have, and you can out climb the terrain over town if you take off straight out.
Yes, you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
So I basically did this fun little lap where I took off, flew out over town, did a loop, and then came down. I mean, you got to be fully configured and dive bombing down, but it is doable.
Yeah,
somebody's probably done it, right? You have to imagine.
I guess you know what I just heard too for the 4th of July. There they had. F-16s doing a flyover low over town and then just yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We should see if there's a video of that somewhere. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Oh, well, I'm good. I'm glad you didn't judge me for that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm holding back.
Yes. Well, thanks to you. Thanks to Joel, who's taken some busy time on his cross-country journey to produce this show today. Thanks to Robb Patton for joining us and sharing.
Do you see the irony here right now, actually? The fact that you and I are both at home and Joel is in a hotel room.
In a hotel room.
What planet are we on right now?
Yeah, I know. All the tables have turned.
I didn't just realize that.
Can you guess which hotel I'm at?
Not a chain.
No, I can't. It looks like some sort of local Mississippian establishment.
Yeah, those curtains are a dead giveaway. That's an emergency. The air conditioning unit is 100% below the window.
Yeah, the hooker I could see through the window there is a dead giveaway. This is no change.
Can you see a gas station if you look out the window?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anywhere that serves crawfish if you look out?
Is there a Wheels Up crew? Did you see them on the crew van today? Well, thanks to Robb Patton for joining us and sharing his wisdom. Thanks to everybody that wrote into the mailbag, flight advice, etc. It's been an amazing summer, and we're looking forward to all that we have in store ahead. Nobody knows what that is, but we're all shaking our heads. Yes, it'll be great. All right, boys. Well, you two fly safe. I'm just going to man the pool here in Scottsdale.
Yeah, you man the flight simulator. You keep working that global approach into Telluride way. Joel and I are doing the real thing. All right.
Yeah, you do the real thing. I'll let you know. Well, listen. If you're flying a piston airplane into the south, if you're flying a piston airplane into the mountains, or if you're flying a Global Express on a flight simulator, there's one important thing you must remember.
Flexibility is, of course, the key to air power. We'll talk to you next time.
See you guys. The statements made in this show are our own opinions and do not reflect, nor were they under any direction from any of our employers.